Hello all, what's up? You on my official boxing show now. This is the first show, so I really don't know how to, introduce, things like that. But I'm gonna get through it as the show goes along. It'll get better. My room will be a lot cleaner eventually when I get to it. Anyway, this is just a boxing show. I'm gonna be reviewing some of the weekend boxing, as I see fit and what's happening and things like that. But if you got any questions, just send them in, and I'll be sure to answer them as quick as I can. I'm gonna try to make this the best boxing show that I can for y'all. Unfortunately, only have 10 minutes, so I'm just gonna give you what I can. So let's open up. I'm watching wrestling right now. Yeah, watching wrestling, doing a boxing show. Still, Rikishi not looking that good right now. But even so, I'm just gonna start off on a few things. First I'm gonna address is of course, Jermaine Taylor versus Kelly Pavlik. Now this fight should be a pretty good match. I see Jermaine Taylor winning it. I see him winning it. I just see him outboxing Pavlik. I don't see him knocking out Pavlik. I see him outboxing him. I think he's really going to be able to outbox Pavlik. I don't believe the hype on Pavlik yet. He stopped Edison Miranda, but I've been telling people that would listen that Edison Miranda can't deal with people that can beat him at a distance. I told all my friends that. I told everything that. I told Edison Miranda, if you watch him when he fights, when he throws his right hand, it's not a short right hand. He doesn't just start like that. Miranda always pull back and throw it at you from the back. You never see Miranda use like an uppercut or things. You can never see Miranda use an uppercut or head movement or something like that. You only see him set up with either a jab, right from the outside. And that's Pavlik's game. Pavlik can fight from the outside. He boxes people from the outside. That's how he wins his matches. He boxes from the outside. And Miranda isn't an inside fighter. I don't care how much power people thought he had. He's not an inside fighter. His power comes from the outside. That's where he brings it to you. He does not know how to throw inside punches. He is not an inside fighter. He can't do all that. But the thing is, and I'm just playing around throwing my hands, just showing an example here. I could really box if I wanted to, but he's not an inside fighter. That's what I've been trying to tell people. Miranda's not an inside fighter. He's an outside fighter. Outside fighting is Pavlik's game if he decides to fight that way. I wasn't sure how Pavlik would fight because the fight before that, he was just fighting on the inside like that and then bring it back up and then getting tagged on the chin and stuff like that. But he actually fought a pretty perfect, smart fight. Fought at a distance, beat Miranda at Miranda's own game, which is really more Pavlik's game. But the way Pavlik people is he keeps you from getting inside, and he beats you from the outside. Jermaine Taylor's whole game is from the outside. But the problem is, if you're faster than Jermaine Taylor, then he's going to have an issue with it. He can keep you on the outside all day, especially if you're an outside fighter like Bernard Hopkins can be. But with someone like Corey Spinks, who was faster than him and had a better jab than him and was a southpaw jab for that, it was really, really hard for Jermaine to see that, because that the style where Corey would jab up. He would jab up with the jab, and he would come with it, and by the time it was gone, it was like Jermaine only saw his punches coming back, and his defense was so good, his chin was so good, his stamina was so good. Probably the best Corey Spinks we have ever seen against Jermaine Taylor, and I thought Corey Spinks won that match. I thought he won that match pretty clearly. And I was disgusted at the comments that Larry Merchant made about fighters. He wishes fighters would just stand toe to toe. Put him in the ring with his brain damaged self if his head isn't already damaged enough. The problem is that people like him, they don't see boxing as an art. They see it as just something where they slug it with each other trying to land out. They don't see the art and trying not to get hit. Put Larry Merchant in a ring with a hard puncher. You tell Larry Merchant, I'm going to put you in with a bigger, stronger fighter. Do what you think is best for you in your career. Now, with Larry Merchant, using what little brain he had, if you're fighting someone bigger and stronger than you, would you stand toe-to-toe with someone that's bigger and stronger than you and has more knockouts? But if you're faster, quicker, slicker, and have a better defensive game, wouldn't you fight exactly the same way Corey Spinks did? Why the heck would you give up your attributes just to make the fight exciting? Otherwise, boxing is no longer a sport. Then why the hell do people use their attributes at all? If you were quicker, slicker, why even be quicker and slicker if all you're going to do is... Why be quicker and slicker and learn defense if all you're going to do is slug the whole time? Seriously, idiots like that really bring boxing down notches a lot. That's all I got to say about that idiot. Anyway... He probably gonna be gone soon anyway. Anyway, I just want to talk about Jermaine Taylor said something very interesting. He said that Pavlik is just a normal fighter, which is true. He's a normal fighter. He has flawed things like that, and I think Jermaine Taylor can beat him because Pavlik is really nothing special to me. He's someone that can use all that height, all that advantage. He has all the talent in the world, but we'll see if he can put it together against someone like Jermaine Taylor. Jermaine Taylor can win, but it's not going to look pretty. And Pavlik said that Jermaine Taylor has a lot of flaws. You're right. He has a lot of flaws. Corey Spinks, Bernard Hopkins, Winky Wright, all of them exposed the flaws of Jermaine Taylor. But you know what? Despite the times all his flaws get exposed, he finds some way to win. Even though I thought he lost to Hopkins, and I thought he lost to Wright, and I thought he lost to Corey Spinks. They took advantage of those things more than anybody else. And I can guarantee you, those three fighters can take advantage of his weaknesses in more ways than Pavlik can. Pavlik's not going to be able to take advantage of Jermaine Taylor the way that Bernard Hopkins did. He doesn't have that experience. Can't take advantage of Jermaine Taylor the way Winky Wright did. Doesn't have that kind of experience nor style. Can't take advantage of Jermaine Taylor the way Corey Spinks did. He doesn't have the speed, the height, or the defense, or the style to do that. So I think that Jermaine Taylor's going to win this one. I think he's going to outpoint Pavlik. Pavlik's just going to do just enough to lose. It'll be an ugly fight, but I think Jermaine's going to take it. All I can tell Jermaine is that you go to the body, and when Pavlik decides he wants to throw his hooks, go right up his head, because he'll open himself up every time, and he'll leave that mouth wide open. Catch him the way that Brock caught Audley Harrison. You'll knock and you'll catch him. I guarantee it. The next thing I want to talk about is the Madison Square Garden ring retirement ceremony. I think it's a wonderful thing. I think you got Joe Frazier, you got Emil Griffith, you got a lot of good fighters there. They're going to be retiring soon, and it seems like only yesterday when they were just tearing up the charts, huh? Not for me though, I wasn't born yet. But still, it seems like only yesterday you watch their fights, you just wish there were fighters like that around nowadays. But I always tell people when I say if there were fighters like them around nowadays, they'd be getting knocked out a lot quicker nowadays. Because a lot of trainers know how to deal with those bull forward head movement styles. If anything they had was determination, training that these people didn't have, which made them better in the things, but style-wise, they can get beaten a lot easier nowadays than back then, style-wise. And Pacquiao Barerra. Pacquiao Barerra. I think Pacquiao's gonna take it again. The way that Barrera's been looking lately, I thought he would win his last match with Juan Marquez. I still think he won the match. I was proven wrong in that instance, but still, I really think that Barrera's really falling out of it. He can keep his composure for about 5 rounds. After 5 rounds, it's over for him. Once he gets caught by Pacquiao, it's gonna be all over because there's no way to defend that. Barrera's just taking too much punishment nowadays. Juan Marquez shouldn't have hit him as much times as he could, and Barrera's a better counterpuncher. Should have been a better counterpuncher, and he just didn't look the way I did. The way that Juarez tagged him, and the way that Marquez tagged him. I think it's just a matter of time. Of course, Pacquiao wasn't doing himself any favors by doing all this extra stuff. He's burning himself out. So, Pacquiao burning himself out, that's not going to help at all. Barrera said that Pacquiao's been a thorn in his side, so I know Barrera's training his head off. I'm not so sure Pacquiao is. It kind of reminds me of, I think some people at the forums have already said, reminds me of Rocky 3, when Rocky was training for what he thought was going to be an easy match, and then Clubber Lang beat the crap out of him. I said it happened to Pacquiao. He's too into his own hype, like he can't be beat no matter what. And it's enough. I've had enough of seeing it from him. I know he's going to burn out eventually, and I think Barrera's the one that's going to do it to him. And I'm picking Barrera to win this one. I'm going to pick Barrera to win. I think that if it goes past 5, Pacquiao's going to win, but I think Barrera, if it goes anything like from 1 to 8, Pacquiao can win. Barrera can win from 9 to 12. That's all I'm going to say about that. I got 30 seconds left, so let me see what else I can cover. There will be a part 2, by the way. The next thing I can talk about in the show is Chad Dawson, Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s fallout. Chad Dawson, you're going to get knocked out sooner or later, so it really doesn't matter. Your style never changes. You always seem to go down in fights, and if you can't handle... And Floyd Mayweather Jr. said that you can only take someone that blows smoke up your butt about how great you are. You're not going to keep the title that long, buddy. Not with who you're about to face. Alright, I'll get to that later next show, holla. But, the thing is that you cannot be a champion and not be able to take critique from your trainer. That's my main gripe with you, Chad Dawson. You have so many flaws, but so much talent, and you refuse to fix those flaws. It's like you have no desire to be the best anymore. You just want to be champion. You don't want to be the best. You just want to be as good as you are. That's a difference between... I don't really like when fighters do that. So you're on your way to get knocked out sooner or later, because if you got a trainer that's just blowing smoke up your butt, all you're going to be is hot air. Hatter gets popped easily. Hatter gets popped easily by Heat. And Heat's what's going to come to you when because you have that title that's a bullseye. I'll cover this later. Holla.